In a forgotten kingdom where the land once breathed warmth and color, there stood fields that stretched endlessly toward the horizon, fields of golden blooms that followed the sun as if it were their guiding soul. The people believed these flowers were more than plants. They were guardians, witnesses, living memories of hope. At the heart of this kingdom lived a princess unlike any other. Her name was Elira. She was not born beneath jeweled ceilings or announced by trumpets of war. She was born at dawn, when the sun first kissed the earth after a night of storms. As she took her first breath, every golden bloom in the kingdom turned east at once, as if greeting her. That was the day destiny took root. Princess Elira grew among sunlight and soil rather than silk and stone. While other royals learned politics and power, she learned the language of the wind and the patience of growing things. She spoke to the fields, not with words, but with presence. When she walked, wilted flowers straightened. When she laughed, clouds parted. Yet Elira carried a secret she did not understand. Whenever darkness touched her heart, fear, sorrow, doubt, the sky dimmed. The elders noticed this long before the king did. They whispered of ancient prophecies, of a child bound to the sun itself, a child whose light could either heal the kingdom or burn it to ash. To protect her, the king ordered Elira sheltered within palace walls, but light was never meant to be imprisoned. Beyond the golden fields lay the Ashen Hills, where the sun rarely lingered. From there, a presence began to rise, an ancient force known only as the Gloom Sovereign, a being born from forgotten grief and abandoned prayers. As the seasons passed, the flowers began to falter. The sun still rose, but it no longer stayed. Elira felt the change before anyone spoke of it. Each morning she awoke weaker, as if part of her strength had been siphoned away. At night she dreamed of a crown made of thorns and a voice that whispered, "Light that refuses sacrifice becomes darkness." The kingdom's scholars sought weapons, the generals prepared armies. Elira sought understanding, and in doing so, she made a choice that would alter everything. One night, Elira slipped beyond the palace walls and into the ancient Sun Archive, a hidden sanctuary where the first truths of the world were carved into stone. There, she learned what no ruler dared to remember. The golden fields were not natural. They were sustained by a living bond between the sun and a chosen soul. Each era demanded a guardian. Each guardian paid a price. Elira was not meant to rule forever. She was meant to become the bridge. To defeat the Gloom Sovereign, the sun required a vessel strong enough to anchor its light permanently to the world, a human heart, a willing one. Tears traced Elira's face as understanding bloomed. Her life was not a tragedy, but a promise. Still, promises could break hearts. At dawn, she returned to the palace, not as a sheltered princess, but as a bearer of truth. When Elira revealed her fate, the kingdom erupted in despair. The king forbade it, the people protested, the generals swore loyalty unto death. But Elira stood unmoved. "For years," she said, "you followed the sun without asking what it gave you in return. Now it asks something of us." The Gloom Sovereign advanced, swallowing villages in shadow. Crops failed, hope thinned. Finally, on the final sunrise before the darkness reached the capital, Elira walked alone into the fields. She wore no crown, only a simple golden cloak. As the sun rose, she raised her hands, not in command, but in surrender. The sky fractured with light. The sun did not descend, it answered. Light poured into Elira, threading through her veins like fire and memory. She screamed, not in pain, but in transformation. The Gloom Sovereign emerged, roaring against the brilliance. Where darkness struck, Elira stood. Where fear spread, she rooted herself. The battle was not of weapons, but of endurance. And then, gently, Elira stepped forward and vanished into light. The darkness screamed once and dissolved. The sun settled into the sky, steady and eternal, and the fields, they bloomed brighter than ever before. The people searched for Elira. They found no body, only a single golden flower standing where she had last stood, taller than any other, always facing the sun. The elders understood. Elira had not died. She had become. From that day forward, the sun never abandoned the kingdom. The fields flourished even in winter. And when despair touched the land, the wind carried warmth, as if a familiar presence still watched over them. Legends say that if you stand among the golden blooms at dawn and whisper your fear, the sun will linger just a moment longer. Because true royalty is not measured by crowns or thrones, but by the courage to become light, so others may live in it.